to know that so that how can we fix that?
Yeah.
People will be calling her.
Yeah. We'll get it straight. I'll do that.
Okay.
Yeah. I'll get it straight. Thank you for letting me know that, though.
You are welcome.
And welcome to the line. Welcome to the line. We're going to talk some girl talk tonight. Ooh. We're going to talk some girl talk tonight. Amen. Come on and share this. Share this with your girlfriends. Share it with your sister, your cousin, your auntie, your grandma, your mama. Come on, share it tonight. Women of Great Purpose is on the line, and we are on live tonight. And we have a very special guest that's going to be joining us tonight as well, as we are talking about coming from singleness to marriage and back to singleness again. How do you cope with the void? Number one. And number two, how do you get over being in that place where you got to get over those feelings, those emotions that had to do with that breakup or whatever it was, whether it was marriage or whether it was you were just in a dating relationship. But how do you get over that? How do you get over that and go back to being single again? And then how do you prepare yourself for the next place that you're going into? And so with us tonight, we're going to be talking with my daughter-in-law, Minister Takika Allen. We're going to be talking with her tonight. And we're going to be talking with you too. And so we want to hear comments from you. We want to hear questions from you. We want you to speak up and speak loud about some of the things we're going to be talking about. And those of you that want to dial in on the teleconference line so that your questions and all that can be heard by everybody that's watching and that's a part of this live, you can dial in at 857-216-6700. Again, that's 857-216-6700. And the access code is 763-366. 763-366. And I apologize for us coming on late. Amen. We're supposed to be on at 8 p.m. sharp. But I was having a conversation with my padre. And I lost track of time. But we're on live now. We're on live now. And we about to get it started. Let's get it started. Let's get it started. Let's get it started. Let's get it started. Hey. And I feel tired. Y'all pray for me. Pray for my friend in the Lord. Good evening.
Hi.
Now she's trying to be all shy. I don't know. Everybody can hear you.
Hi, people.
Wait. What's all that? Is it still? What is why distorted?
Distorted?
Can you hear me talking? Yeah, somebody said there's a bad echo.
I'm in a hollow room or something. Let me see.
Does that
Does
sound
that
better?
sound better? Is that better?
Can y'all hear
Can
us
y'all hear
clearly
us
now?
clearly?
I still hear
I
a little
still
bit
hear a
of
little bit
echo.
of echo.
I think it's the background TVs and stuff.
Oh, I
Oh,
don't have no
I don't have
TV
no
in
TV.
here.
Let me see. Is that better?
Is that better,
Is that
everybody?
better,
Can y'all
everybody?
hear us clearer now?
Here now.
No. We
No.
said no.
Oh, goodness. Maybe I'm too high up.
What do you mean?
What do
Are
you
you
mean?
standing on something?
No.
You standing
He's
on
standing
something.
on something, y'all.
So you can't
So
hear
you
me.
can't hear me.
Okay, it's an
Okay,
echo
it's an
when I
echo when
speak.
I speak.
Well, I don't know what's wrong with this damn phone
Damn
then.
phone then.
It's about to be
It's
a
about to be a
problem.
problem.
I'm
I'm
gonna
gonna
tell those of you on the
those of you on the
clubhouse,
telephone,
if you can,
if you
just
can,
join us on the
join us
live.
on the live.
Is it? I don't hear it distorted. I don't know how to say that word, though.
I,
I
I don't understand.
don't understand.
The enemy
The
trying to
enemy is trying to
sabotage our
sabotage
phone.
our phone.
Is it better?
Is it better? Is it better now?
Delayed and
Delayed
garbled.
and garbled.
I don't know what that means. I should probably go out. I might have to go outside. Let me see.
I can hear
I
the
can hear
strips on
the
my
strip on
end.
my end.
Maybe.
Maybe.
I don't know how to end
That's
it.
right,
That's
Donna. The
right,
devil
Donna.
is
The
a
devil.
lie.
How do you end this?
Oh, Lord.
Oh,
Your
Lord.
husband is on blast.
He
She
is?
said, Takika said, click in your live and see if it stops. Oh, my goodness. We can't have no women talk, no woman just discussion without no man being on there. They nosy. Y'all give us a few minutes. Now, how does mine sound now? Does mine sound better now, or am I still distorted? Is mine better, or is it still distorted? I'm good now. So technically, it wasn't mine; it was hers. We gonna tell her that when she come back on. What happened? I thought I pushed her to come back on. Ooh, where is she? Okay, so you decide not to do it. Look, okay, so now y'all know we in the same place. Ooh, it says what? It says the conference has not started on the phone. Okay, I know. I'm about to dial back in now. You love to stand outside on the front porch?
So I can talk freely.
Okay, we're going to go outside on the front porch. No, men are not allowed, Bishop Horace Allen. This is girl talk. No, it was. We both gonna go outside. We gonna sit outside on the front. We gonna sit on the front stoop. How about that? Y'all wanna sit on the front stoop? I don't know how we gonna do that now.
I could have went outside because it's my phone connected in here. That's
Oh, you think so? Okay, go ahead, try it. We gonna try it. All right, and I'm going to dial back in on the conference line. Hello. Marcia. Hello. Um, Bishop Marcus Fisher Jr. Listen, I'm telling all the men on here, the title says Girl Talk, Women of Great Purpose. I wish I could put a private setting on here so no men would be on our live. I'm just joking. Y'all can be in, y'all ear hustling. Just ear hustling. That's what y'all do. That's okay. Ear hustle away. Ear hustle away. I'm dialing back in now, Fran. I'm dialing back in now, Fran. Girl talk. That's right. That's right. Tell him, Cindy. Girl talk. We girl talking.
Welcome to free conference calling. The conference has not started. If you are the host, we will now connect you to your call. There are 1 attendees in this conference. The host
All
has
right.
joined the conference.
So I'm waiting for her to get in position so that we can go on with what we're doing. Oh, Bishop Dee Allen, get off of the live and put some plugs in your ears. Donna, that is funny. Sometimes I wish that did work. Oh, okay, Kika, you gotta do the okay, I'm gonna do it now. Okay, it's adding her now. Are y'all ready for this? Are y'all ready for this? Uh-oh.
It
How's
came
that
back.
sound, guys?
They keep telling me to do stuff.
What is it telling you to do?
And it's hot out here. I'm going to just go outside.
Because I don't hear the muffling now.
Huh?
I don't hear
Sorry, Bishop.
I don't hear the muffle now. So tonight our topic is we are talking about coming from singleness to marriage and then back to singleness. How do we, number one, deal with the void? How do we, number two, get over whatever it was that occurred during the relationship? And number three, how do we prepare for the next? How do we prepare for the next? And the reason why we're having this, I know when I was doing my live, where I was saying, ask me a question and I'll tell you anything about me or whatever, whatever. One question was posed that somebody wanted to talk about, and it was, how do you overcome those past hurts and pains and things of that nature? And like I said, it's not always about marriage. Some people have been in long relationships with people that they were hoping to marry one day or something like that, or in dating relationships, and things just didn't work out. Um, and so I've been married before. Mm. Um, yeah, you know. And so we're going to talk about it tonight. And we want you guys to ask questions. Those of you that are on teleconference, hello. Thank you for dialing in. And people will be able to hear your questions on the live as well when we open up for questions. But first, I want to introduce, and we can barely see you because it's dark out there.
Yeah.
I can just see your silhouette. She trying to be secretive, y'all. She trying to hide in the dark. You look at one of them, she wants to be incognito. She wants her identity
Oh,
to
wow.
be you know to be covered.
I think they kind of know who I am a little bit.
She's covering her identity, y'all. She don't want nobody to know who she is. So we just see that dark silhouette. Uh-oh, Cindy said, God sees you, beautiful champion. I know that's right. I know that's right. So
Well, thank you.
amen. So listen, Minister Takika Allen, she is a phenomenal woman of God. Her and her husband did a radio show, used to do a radio show, TND. They talked about a lot of relationship stuff on that radio show. Talk about dating stuff, talk about marriage stuff, just talk about communication, how to get through, difficult times in relationships and all that. And so I thought that she would be a good person to have on to talk about some of these things with tonight. And so,
Oh,
um, I my first question is, first, I just want you to introduce yourself to the people.
hi,
Tell them just
people.
a little bit about yourself. Um, and
Oh,
then we're going to get into this discussion. But I want you guys to send some questions in as well. Those of you on the live, and those that have a question, you just gonna have to speak up on the conference line so that then I can give you time to ask the question. So come on, Kika, tell us about yourself.
well, my name is Takika, last name now Allen, and I am a mother of birth 5, but 8 all in total, blended family. I am the wife of Bishop Demetrius Allen. We did have a radio show, Real Talk with DNT, that talked on relationships, and basically that birth out of our past and what we went through, and we made it perfectly clear that neither one of us were perfect in past relationships and all those other things. So you have two people coming together after going through and putting other people through things that probably wasn't necessary. But we wanted to be real with everyone and show them our relationship. It's not always lovey-dovey. We have spoken about arguments or what we call debates that we've had and how to get through them and what we've done to get past those things. And, we're still in the newlywed stages and we're still um, learning each other. The one thing that you have to always keep in mind is that when you're married to someone, you're always learning from that person, the good and the bad, and the in between parts. Things they may not know, but because you're learning them, you do see those things. So, but yeah, I'm a stubborn type of woman. Um, and he did spoil this woman who started spoiling herself as a single woman. And now it's his fault that I'm spoiled. So, you got to live with that.
Right, and
So,
he got to
but
keep it
yeah,
going, right? He got to keep it going.
yep. He definitely
Yeah,
does.
you know, sometimes it can be hard to keep it up, you know what I mean? But
Yes.
but we want to talk tonight because there are so many women that we get into relationships, we're in relationship with a person, we give them our all because us as women, we are emotional. We connect emotionally, um first of all, and then it's like we get these feelings, we get all entangled with people, and sometimes I think we get entangled with the idea of who they have presented themselves to be to us,
Right.
first of all.
Absolutely.
And by the time we get to see their real self, we either already married to them, or we so far in, it's too late to turn back now.
Mhm.
And
Oh my.
so we tend to deal with what we deal with, um in order to continue to be in that relationship and make it work, right?
Right.
But then what happens when we are in a relationship and we feel like we're in it for the long haul? We put up with all the mess, we dished out mess, we got through some rough times together, over some hills, through some valleys, and then it's like, the relationship just doesn't work, and we
Hmm.
end up single again.
Yeah.
We end up in a place where we're like, we feel like we gave our all, we gave everything that we had, We even had to, we lost a lot of stuff. We lost a lot of
Mm-hmm.
relationships. We lost a lot of, even some of ourselves, because sometimes in relationships, especially I'm just talking about the women, we tend to be so engulfed in that person that we lose a piece of. And then we got to find ourselves all over again. Who we are, what we're willing to do. How do we as women, amen, really get to the place after a hard or difficult breakup? Something, something that we've been entangled with, that we birth children, you know what I'm saying,
Mm.
with this person. We've been, I mean, through it all, we didn't had to deal with the nastiness. We didn't had to deal with unfaithfulness. We had to deal with, all kind of foolishness, and we dished some out too. But it's about, how do we pick up the pieces from that?
Well, for me, I can speak in my first marriage. I experienced all that you were talking about. I um, got married. I started, dealing with the man. He was my children's father, of course. He was 15 years older than me. Um, and I was about to turn 19. I was 18 at the time. And everything he said to me was on point. Everything. The first thing in being single before you get into a marriage is what I had to learn the hard way is you have to know who you are. If you do not know who you are, everything someone says, whether it's a man or, hey, men go through it too with women, but we have to learn who we are. I did not know who I was before my first marriage. I was an insecure little girl. And before we got married, I was pregnant. I had a daughter, my oldest child, with him. And like, I remember it was a time that I paid for everything. And like, he had no money and I was buying stuff. And he told me after my oldest child was born, he told me that he liked me, but he didn't love me. And I just looked at him and we walked out. We were at Carl's Jr.'s and we walked out. I threw my cup of soda, just threw it in a parking lot because I'm like, wow, like I just gave birth to you. People told me that I shouldn't be with you and all this other stuff. Like, what is wrong with you? Because it was a secret. And he turned around and called me and was like, I'm just playing. And he told me, I'm going to treat you like Bill Cosby did Felicia Rashad. I believed everything he said. And we got married and it went downhill. Like, I was married to a roommate. I never saw him. If I did see him, he was sleeping. We were homeless from time to time. And um, I always tell people that all I did was burp. All he did was bless me with 5 kids. That's what he did for me. And I wrote him letters and was like, what can I do to make myself better for you? I blamed me for our marriage not working. And the thing about it, and I just said this earlier to somebody, that we so desperately want someone to fill in the space that we're supposed to be filling in ourselves. But we're not taught that. We go by image of what we see how other people marriages is working and thinking I'm going to be in the marriage like they are. We don't know what's going on the inside of their homes.
Right.
All we know is what they're presenting on the outside. So what I honestly love about being in the marriage that I'm in now, no, we don't tell all our business, but we do let people know we're not perfect at all, because we want people to see the realness of a marriage and what it's really about. And I told my husband, I'm not going to do any kind of radio shows or nothing if we're not going to be real. Good, bad, ugly. We messed up here. We did this here. And in my first marriage, I was silenced. I didn't speak a lot. I was just seen. I was miserable. I was unhappy. My children started becoming unhappy. And I was taking my anger out on my children. And they couldn't understand why. Because to them, They had playtime, they were happy, and they didn't understand why mom and dad were two different people. And I was literally sleeping with the enemy. And to think about it, you would think I was talking about my ex-husband, but it was me. I was sleeping with me. The enemy was me, because I kept pushing myself to be in something that I shouldn't have gotten in the first place. So once I had enough courage to tell him, I don't want to be married to you no more. And I said it to him just like that. I don't want this anymore. This is not working for me. I'm not happy. You're not happy. We don't talk to each other. We've kissed 3 times in our whole relationship. And after we got married, before the reception, while taking pictures, he told me he wanted an annulment while we were taking pictures. So I'm like, it's not working. So after that and being on my own, it was scary, because then I became bitter. And I already had single women around me. So there was really no one to tell me what to do after the divorce, how you pick your life up and how you go on and how you move on afterwards, because there's always that string that keeps you attached to that person. And for me, it was our kids, and he was used to me making his doctor's appointments, and he was used to me filling out paperwork for him. Those are the little things men don't get that we do as women, when we make the phone calls for you that you don't have to worry about making, or we do things you don't even know about because we taking care of it. And he even told me, I forgot what it's like to have a woman make me a sandwich, because I used to get up at 2 o'clock in the morning and make sandwiches for him for work. And he had to do all that himself, and realized it was time consuming, because it was either finish making my sandwich or hurry up and go to work. So it's like, those little things did not matter to that person until we got divorced. And he realized, well, dang, she really did have my life together for me. And I'm not saying all men need a woman to, have their life together, but it is those little things, picking up stuff that they can't go get. You're their secretary. You do and handle things that they don't handle. And after a while, I became bitter, but I was still doing stuff for him. He would call me and be like, yeah, I need this doctor's appointment. I was still making his doctor's appointment. I was still going to pick up stuff for him. I was still taking his clothes to the dry cleaners. It was like a year and a half I was still doing those things. And when I told him no, it shocked him. I said, no, I can't do that. And it freed me in a little bit, but it didn't free me a lot, because even after telling him no, there were still other men that came along that I couldn't say no to, because I needed that void. And the one thing when we become single, what we do is we're still looking for someone to complete that part of us that we're not completing ourselves.
Right.
So we go through all of the unnecessary men to realize you was not worth my time, but we already gave them that time and we can't get it back. So when you're starting over, it's hard, because you really have to deal with you. And if you have kids, you have to deal with you plus kids. So your kids got to grow up and you have to grow up at the same time.
Yeah.
So that was
And
me.
one thing I came to realize, because I was see, you was saved and in the church with your marriage. I wasn't. With my first marriage, I was 19 years old. My ex-husband, I'm gonna say ex now, but at the time he was 14 years older than me, and I really didn't know what I was doing. I just know this was a person I cared about. I felt like I loved him, was in love with him. And so when he asked me to marry him, I said yes. We had only been dating a year. Um, but I said yes. And I got married to him. At that point in time, I didn't know myself. I didn't really like myself much. I was just maybe a year, almost 2 years out of high school, had my own place working, and all of that. And, just really my first time really being on my own and away from home.
Hmm.
But I had self-esteem issues. I had issues with myself. I had issues from, my childhood or whatever, my past, not, having my father in my life, but I had a father, which was my
Mm-hmm.
stepfather. And he was a good man. He was a good father. But the thing was, my biological father was the one that caused the problem in my life, not being there. But,
Right.
I married him. And it wasn't until later, when I realized, when I got a little older, and I was like, man, I was looking for something that was missing from my life that ain't had nothing to do with wanting a husband, but
Right.
wanting somebody to fill that void of that father that I was missing. You
Right.
know what I'm saying? Because he was older, and I was looking for that father figure kind of love. But because I had issues within myself, it perverted that, what I was really looking for. You know what I'm
Hmm.
saying? And I end up marrying somebody that I looked at as, that could possibly be that. Well, I was dating him and I didn't look at him that way, but ultimately that's what it was.
Right.
Um, but he was abusive. We didn't stay together long after we got married. I think we was maybe together uh, a week shy of a month. Um, he wanted to be abusive, controlling, manipulating, all these different things. He was kind of had some stalker tendencies I didn't know he had, before we said I do. And some other stuff as well, because he used to just pop up at my job. He would call my job. I was like trying to figure out how he got the number, you know, just crazy stuff, talking about my food better be hot by when I get home. And he got off at 12 midnight.
Oh, wow.
I didn't even have a microwave in the house.
Wow.
I was like, oh yeah. He was like, yeah, if my food ain't hot when I get home, we gonna fight. I'm thinking he joking, but no, he was serious.
Wow.
Yeah, so that was our first fight that night. But
Wow.
the thing was, that relationship there almost led to my death, because I was in a place where I wanted something to fill a place in me, because I didn't have the knowledge or the understanding of how I could fill that void myself. You know what I'm saying? Through that self
Mm-hmm.
love, through that self appreciation. You know what I'm saying? By just having that esteem for myself, and the respect for myself, and the love for myself and who I was. And so I needed somebody to fill that void, to tell me I was beautiful, to tell me they loved me, to tell me, you know what I'm saying, that they would be there for me. But when that relationship was over, you know what I did? Jump right into another one.
Wow.
Jump right into another one. When I finally, got away from him, I had to move, some states, several states over, to get away from him. And even when I was in those several states over, um, I got a card in the mail from him. It scared me to death. I was like, oh
Wow.
Lord, this is my childhood being replayed all over again. Because my mother was married to a man, that she had ran away from. We had, me and her, ran away from, and he followed us states and just tormented us, just harassed us, just, did all kind of stuff. And so I was like, oh my God, I would come out the house, I'm looking around trying to see, if this person gonna jump down off the roof, or, just all these things was coming back because of these experiences. And so, with that being said, for years, I went through this continuous cycle, getting out of relationships, getting into another one. I mean, listen, I always knew that I wanted to be married, that I was supposed to be married, right?
Mm-hmm.
But nobody ever really told me what marriage was supposed to be like, what it was supposed to look like. I
Right.
never really understood, because for real, I didn't have the examples in my own family. The only example I had was, my mom being in this abusive relationship, and I was like, I don't want that. I didn't have no example until my mom met my stepfather. You know what I'm saying? That was an example for me, but the other things was already put in my head. You know what I'm saying? The TV
Right.
things that I watched as a child was put in my head. And so I'm thinking, oh, marriage is going to be easy. It's going to be love. And everything is just going to work out. Well, that's not how it was. Can I just be honest? Every person I married, it was like I I made them better, but I got worse.
Wow.
You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I did for them, but they couldn't do nothing for me.
Wow.
You know, I took care of them, but when I needed somebody to take care of me, nobody was there. And so every time I got out of, that relationship, that marriage, it was like I was just more and more broken.
Yeah.
But it wasn't until, and I'm sorry, I got to bring this is the truth of my reality. It wasn't until I really started having a relationship with the Lord that I understood love and how to love
Mm-hmm.
me and how to heal from all of that. You
Right.
know what I'm saying? How to heal from all of that, all that brokenness, all those pieces being mended back together. That's when I really understood love. Because I would listen to the old women talk, and they would be talking about how they've been with their husband for 50 years. He done had 3, 4 children outside of the marriage on them. All this kind of stuff. Was a drunk, was
Oh
abusive,
my.
all this. And I'm like saying to myself, y'all crazy. How you still gonna be with that man? Da 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 da, right? And they was like, honey, that's just how it is. When you love somebody, da 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 da, right? I was like, that's crazy. As soon as they mess up, they gone. I'm kicking them
I
to the
think
curb, right?
I think everybody has that state of mind of you only get one chance. If you do this, if you do that, I'm out of here, until we're in it. And then it's like, I think it depends on who you are and who the person is that you're married to. Now, I'm not condoning infidelity, of course. And like I've always told people, I'll be honest that in relationships I've had before, I was a cheater. And I let people know I was raised by cheaters, liars, manipulators. Majority of the men in my life were that. And my dad, he just had women. Like my mama was the only woman he loved. Like he loved my mother, but there were always women around that claimed my father. And so I always just learned, like I just took it from men. Once I got divorced and I moved to Watts and all that, I said, I'm going to take the mentality of a man. Like, y'all
I've
feel
been
like
there
y'all can have
too.
all these women and y'all can do your thing and, go out with different women and do you, and you feel like a king. Well, I want to feel like a queen. I want to go and do what I want to do, how I want to do it,
You
with
like,
whatever man I
I'm gonna
feel
have me
like.
my own concubines,
Exactly.
my own
And
harem of
it
men.
it worked for me for a minute. It did, but it's always with women, it's always that one man that will strike you in a way of like, wow. And and it was a man who had me mentally. He had me, and it messed me up because I saw myself submitting to a person who, in the back of my head, I knew, why am I doing all of this? Like, you made things my fault, and you made me see things in a way that if it wasn't for you, then I wouldn't be who I am. And it hurt, but I couldn't let go of it. It's like there's a um I as much as many people don't like Beyonce and say whatever they want, I listen to her songs. Everybody else based it on her character. I listen to songs, and she has songs like Poison. She has songs talking about toxic, and the song Poison, she tells them it's just like poison. And the thing about it is, the cure is found in you. I'm so addicted to you. Not only are you my ailment, but you're my cure. And that's what we do we allow men to be our ailment and our cure at the same time. We want to let them go. We know there's something else out there that can heal us and make us better, but we so addicted to them, they become that our toxic enjoyment. And that was what it was for me. And sometimes you have to, majority of the time, most of the time, we should wake up and realize that um, we don't need that. When you make the statement of, thinking it would be easy, I used to think that too, watching all the white couples on TV and Bill and Claire and all this other stuff. I thought it would be easy. And like I made the statement earlier today, someone else said relationship and love should be easy for a person. It's not easy. It's not easy when two people are committed past their own self to be committed to someone else. You have to give in that. And a lot of people don't get that. You get in marriages and relationships and you become selfish. Then it's one-sided. And that's not fair. And then you feel like you have to keep stuff, like you in a relationship to where you feel like you will walk in a room and you don't know who you get today because you guys are not communicating with each other. It's not easy at all. When you love somebody, you have to give up some of yourself so that person can come in that space. And you have to find out what your equal is in that person. You're not going to get along all the time. It's not going to be perfect all the time. You're going to have arguments sometimes. You're not going to speak to each other for a couple of days. And that happens in a marriage. But the thing about it is, it's up to you and that person whether you want to work on it or not. There's marriages based on love. There's marriages based on commitment. There's marriages based on business. And there's marriages based on church. Like, everybody has their specific marriage, but what happened to my cousin Dada put something up today? What happened to men wanting to be in a marriage where they're raising their family, and especially in the Black community? I agree with that.
Right.
Nowadays, you don't have that anymore. People talk about the old school church. One thing I can say about them old pastors back in the day, you didn't find out about extra kids until they died, if they had them. You didn't find out anything about these pastors until they died, because not only did their wives keep it, and let me put the disclaimer out there. I'm not saying stay with somebody who's doing you wrong or doing you dirty and all that stuff, to each his own. But back then, marriage was for real sacred.
Right.
Nobody can come in. Relationships back then were for
Right.
real sacred. I respect my grandmother. My grandfather just passed a month or two ago. And my grandmother and my grandfather been married for 50 something years. My grandmother, I didn't even know. My grandmother had two kids before she married my grandfather. I thought they were all his kids. I didn't know that until I got in my 20s, my late 20s, and found that out. And my auntie Mary and my uncle Gene, they were married for a million years and got divorced, but they still hung around each other. I did not know. My uncle Gene tried to marry somebody else. My whole family almost fell apart. Like, what are you doing? That's not who you. Auntie Mary is your wife. They got remarried, thank God. They've been married for 50 years. They kept everything was in home. Nothing was outside for people to reach. I told my husband, and I don't know if he's watching or not, but I told him, I said, the best way you could protect me is letting me know stuff that nobody else should come and tell me anything
Right.
outside in the streets.
Exactly.
Nobody should.
Exactly.
I should not be around people that when you say something to me that's loving in front of people in public, they looking at each other and rolling their eyes because they know what you're saying is not true. That should not happen.
Right.
I've been on that end before. I catch it quick. I've been on that end looking at when a man get up and speak and the woman he's speaking to is not me, but I know more about him than that other woman do. So I made the eye contact before. And you should not, any man that's on here, you should not put your wife out there like that. And you're not protecting her if she's open to the public and someone can come in and tell her something that she should already know. Protection used to be in home.
Right.
It used to be. Nowadays,
Yeah,
it's coming
husbands and
back.
wives used to cover each
Yeah.
other.
Now
know.
you see subs coming from husbands and wives on social media. Like, you can tell when they arguing with each other because they don't put up a picture of each other, and people wondering, well, they ain't put up a picture of each other in a week. What's going on? Yeah, they got into it, and then all of a sudden they lovey-dovey again. All that stuff happened, but relationship and marriage is not easy at all. And if you're not for it, if you have a selfishness about yourself, you're not ready. If you're completely selfish, you are not ready to be in a relationship. Women, if you feel like I got it all together, I shop for myself, I take care of myself, I make my own money, drive my own car, I don't need nobody to do nothing for me, you're not ready to be married. Congratulations on your life. May the good Lord bless you with the life that you're living. But you're going to have to give up something so that man can come in and be to you who he's supposed to be.
Right.
You can't carry the I'm independent wife woman thing when you married. I tried it in this marriage. I tried to, okay, I'm gonna go out. Me and my husband, he younger than me, but I still got single friends out there I want to hang with. Now I have to realize he asked me, he's like, why don't you go out with them? Because I don't want, not that my friends are bad or anything, but it's just that I don't want to put myself in a position where I have to explain anything. That's just me. I was raised around older women, and I thank God for it, because it's nothing like an old school woman. She'll tell you, I'm an old school fool. Can't nothing get past me.
Right.
And I've learned that, and now I sit back and I smile at a lot of stuff now, because I'm like, okay, my auntie taught me that. My granny showed me that. My cousins my cousins that are married, they taught me that. And I've learned from it. Even during their divorce time, they showed me that you still got to be a mama at the end of the day.
That's right.
If you got kids, once you get a divorce, you still have to, I still had to be a mother. All my kids stayed with me. And I have full custody. I have custody of all my children. And they had to stay with me. So I still had to get up, be a mama, close the door, go scream in my room, go cry in my room, get over it, and get up. But nobody told me how to express those things.
Right.
I did not know how to express. So a lot of people, even when I do stuff like this, when I go live and share a little bit about myself, people tell, okay, you shouldn't do all of that because it's like you're coming from, no, I'm coming from a healing place. I'm reaching women that are out there and they're going through this.
Mm-hmm.
You don't know. There's as much as people tell me, stop telling your story, there's women that be in my inbox. Thank you for sharing. Thank you for expressing that.
Right.
Because they need that these days. Women are going through, especially Black women. We prayed so much. Back in those days, we didn't deal with depression. That's the devil. Oh no, the blood of Jesus. Depression ain't. We didn't deal with postpartum depression.
But that's
we didn't
why
deal
so many
with
people
any
deal
of
with it now.
Exactly, because back then it was an untold story that didn't exist. That was the devil. No, we have those things. We get hurt. The only thing we know how to do is to put on makeup, get on Facebook, and smile for everybody. But behind that, exactly, and we're crying, we're angry. We done broke mirrors in the house. At least I used to. I broke mirrors in the house. I broke glasses. Anybody that used to come to my house know I used to have a cabinet full of alcohol. I was a complete pill popper and alcoholic because I didn't know how to express my hurt. I just knew in order for me to get over that hurt, let a man get on top of me, get done. I'm cool for a minute until the next day when my hurt come back.
Right.
So that's a lot of stuff. And there are women on social media right now that is hurting and they're saying it. And we're looking at it and we're scrolling past it because nobody wants to say, sis, I was there. I know what you're talking about.
Right.
Sis, I've been there before. I know what you're talking about. Nobody wants to say that because nobody wants to reach out. When I got married, people went silent on me. When I got married, it hurt my heart. People went silent on me. Women went silent on me. Women that I thought would be by my side because, this was something that they knew I wanted to get married again and they saw the happiness in me. But it's crazy that we rely on Facebook. But to be honest with you, I can't even get a like from some of those women because who I'm married to. And they look at it as, oh, she was the side piece that became the wife. But you guys are still silent partners. Y'all still living in silence. See? I'm sorry that I made it out of the side piece area. So y'all say, which y'all don't really know the story. But
come on.
I'm sorry I made it out of that. And y'all look at me and get an attitude because y'all still in the closet.
No, it ain't sorry. It's sorry, not sorry. Amen. It was destined to happen because at some point in time, you had to come to a place where you understood that you were more valuable than that. And that was not going to define you, and that was not going to be your destiny, and that there was something greater that was in store for you. And the problem is that a lot of times, going back to what you said before about how you had the mentality of the men, I did the same thing. And I felt like I was going to do men like they did us,
Right.
you know. And I had one for every day of the week. One I wanted to go to the movies with, one I went out to eat with, one I just wanted to, go to the room with or whatever, kick it with.
Yep.
And but it came to me where I said, you know what, dang, they still getting what they want. I was like,
Right.
wait a minute, they still getting what they want, so I ain't winning. I'm not winning at this, you know.
Right.
And so
It's
I really just
tiring. I
had to,
didn't see how they can do that.
yeah,
It was too tiring. It was like I'm mixing up names, and my thought is somewhere else because somebody did something cute the other day, and now I'm with somebody that's boring right now, and it's like, oh my God, and you saying the wrong name at the wrong time, and then that's a fight, and you got to explain yourself. Dudes knocking on your windows and stuff. That's what happened to me. Like I had literally had people knocking on my window. I'm in the house with somebody else, and I'm
man,
hearing knocks on the window for hours. I'm
no.
like, what is going? Why am I
You
doing
know
this
what's
to myself?
crazy? When you out somewhere and somebody else see you and they pull up
Right.
and you just be looking like,
You don't know what to say. You're frozen.
look, I'm saying it happened to me once. I was like, you know what it is.
Oh, you bobo. You bobo.
I was
Me,
like,
I
you know what
excused
it is.
myself and went to the bathroom. When that
Right.
happened to me, I was like, oh, I got to go to the bathroom right quick. I'll be right back. And I called the other person, was like, hey, what you doing? Oh, I already saw you. Oh, no, that's my cousin. That's my friend. Like,
No.
I did stuff like
Because
it was easy for men to do that.
right.
They be so calm when they see another female and we looking at them, they be like, man, come on, quit tripping. Like, and you just be like, what? But we quit tripping though. We stop tripping. We play our part. We stay in our lane. And then the next thing you know, we arguing, but they do something to clear the attitude up. And we in the bed with them just to get up the next day and still have an attitude off of what we saw. But I tried it and I couldn't do it. I was getting text messages wrong. I was saying thank you for last night to the wrong person. And it was
but
just,
that's
I
the
couldn't do it no
thing.
more.
But that's the thing about me. I didn't have that kind of connection. I mean, it is what it was, you know. And so if I saw him when I was out with somebody else, oh well,
Oh,
you mad, get
wow.
over it. We ain't like that.
You
You ain't my
Bobo.
man, I mean, for real, because
Wow. I couldn't do it.
I was tired of being in committed relationships with people, and they just cheating and all that. I'm talking about
Yep.
marriages, and they cheating, they doing what they want to do, and all of that. I was like, man, forget this. But and one thing I never did is if we was done, we was done. I ain't go backwards.
Hmm.
And
Yeah.
my last I'm saying my last marriage, my saved marriage. I was saved. I was saved, filled with the Holy Ghost, okay? In this one, I knew better. I
Yeah.
understood love better. You know what
Right.
I'm saying? Because I had love for myself and respect for myself. But I was in a relationship with somebody that didn't know who they were. They didn't,
Right.
they were lacking, they were broken, they were missing some things. And so they was out there in the world trying to find themselves. They were trying to
Yeah.
find themselves in every woman they could. They were trying to find themselves in alcohol and find themselves in weed and all these things. And it was horrible, because here you are now in a place where you like, okay, God, I'm doing this thing right, you know I'm doing it for you. I know this relationship is going to be blessed. This marriage is going to work. We going to church together. We going to conferences together. We doing all these things together for the Lord to build our spiritual life. And then you find out that one day it just ain't what it was. It just
Right.
ain't what it was. And everything goes downhill from there. And I mean, you going to the house because I went one time. I was at my mom's house and with the kids because we were visiting her and
I know.
talking to him on the phone,
I know.
and then come to find out, I call him back. You know the little thing, you call back and they don't answer the phone.
Yeah.
And something just told me, go to the house. And I left North Carolina and drove all the way to Virginia and went to the house, right? He wasn't there because he was like, oh, he just got out the shower. He was going to get in the bed, right? Went to the house. He wasn't there. His car was there, but he wasn't there. I said, oh, okay. So I sat
Oh,
in the
wow.
house in the dark. By that time, I was mad, right? Because I had checked his voicemail where the girl had left a message on there talking about she was on her way.
Oh, wow.
I said, okay. So I was so mad. I had to call one of my friends in DC. I called her and her husband. I said, look, y'all gonna have to help me because I'm about to kill him.
Oh, wow.
I said, he done out here with some other woman, blah, blah, blah. Honey, they was like, just leave. Go back to your mother's house. I said, nope, I'm not. I want him to know that I know. Honey, I was right, look, I was right there
I was right there
in the car. I mean, in the house.
in the house
When he kept stepped
when
up
he
on the porch
stepped up on the porch
and she was
and
following
she was
behind him.
following behind him.
I flipped that
I
porch
flipped
light
that
on
porch
and
light
opened that
on and
door.
opened that door. They was like,
I was like, come
I was
on
like,
in.
come on in.
But
But
I was
I was playing
after that though
after that though because I gave
so much of myself,
so
and I
much to
guess my
myself, and I guess my
expectation was
expectation was
now it's echoing
now
again.
it's echoing again.
Go to the room
So
where
I gave
so much of myself.
so much to myself, and I guess my expectation was
Now it's echoing.
now it's echoing again.
Yeah, I think
Yeah, I think
it's echoing real
it's
bad.
echoing
What you
real
doing
bad.
now?
What you doing now? So I gave so much to myself, and I guess my expectation.
It sounds
Yeah, I
real
think it
bad.
sounds real bad. It's echoing real bad. What you doing now? Yeah, it sounds real bad. It's echoing real bad. What you doing now?
Wait a minute, everyone. We having some technical difficulties. I still hear the echo, but what I was going to say is that when it was over, when that marriage was over, yeah, keep your earphones in. When the marriage was over, it was like I felt free though. I felt free. I had freedom. It was like I was coming back to myself. But after a while I started missing him. You know what I mean? And when I
Yeah.
was missing him, I was like, wait a minute. I just felt vulnerable. And he would call and, want to see how I'm doing and all this, that, and the other, wanted to take me out. And I said yes. But then the Holy Spirit said, no, why are you going to go back into bondage?
Right.
So I called him back and I was like, I can't go out with you. I said, that time with, us being married, husband and wife is over. I said, that portion of our relationship is over. I said, now it's just time for us to just be friends, you know. And I left it at that. But I still had to heal from everything that happened. I still had to heal from the things that I experienced in that relationship. Because the infidelity, all the cheating, I mean, it was multiple women, and I caught him every
I
time.
don't know how to read it.
I mean,
Hold on, hold
emails.
on.
Okay, I'm holding on. Can y'all hear clearly now? Switch phones that have battery wife. Funny but not funny. No, it wasn't funny. Ooh, yes. It was very painful. Uh-oh, I think we lost her. It was very painful, but um it was very painful, the things that I experienced. But it took it took me having to it took me having to really um just be by myself in order to be healed from that experience. And because I was in a different mindset, I wasn't rushing into no relationship. I was in the point then where I was like, you know what? I don't want to be married. I don't want no husband. I ain't trying to be with nobody. I just want to be busy doing the work of the Lord and just spending time with my family, and that's it. I'm good. And that's how I felt. But then I said, well, God, if it is your will for me to marry, then you let my husband find me. And I left it at that.
Right.
But I just continue to do the work of the Lord. So how I dealt with the void, was I filled the void with positive things. I didn't allow him to draw me back in to that relationship. Because you know how it
Hmm.
is, that breakup stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it was very tempting. And there was a soul tie that was still there that had to be broken. But I had to be willing to break it though, so that I could really
Right.
be free of him. And I tested it out one time. Cause he used to call me all the time, and he want to come say, "Oh, I want to come see Melanie. I want to come see my daughter." Da 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 da. And he would come see her. She wanted to see him, but he would, just be in my face. But the thing is that I said this. I said, "Okay, God, I want to be free from that. I don't want no hold to be on me. I don't want him, to be trying to manipulate me. I want the next time that I see him, I don't feel nothing. You
Right.
know what I'm saying? I don't desire him. You know what I'm saying? And so what I did, I
Right.
was on my way up to Maryland, and he was on his weekend camp with the military. So I called him and told him, I said, meet me at the exit. You know what I'm saying? Because I was going to test it. I said, I'm going to kiss him and see if anything happened. And if don't nothing happen, I know that soul tie is broken, right? Girl, I was crying it. And I was like, Lord, I've been praying the whole time up there, right? So I kissed him, ain't feel nothing. I start shouting. He was like, what is it? What happened? I was like, nothing. Talk to you later. Have a good weekend. And got in the car and left. Right? I was like, yes, thank you, Lord. And after
Mine
that,
was
though,
emotional.
huh?
Mine was emotional.
Woo.
Mine was, it was, I'm always the type of person that a lot of people um, ask me what type of man do I like or something. And I'm like, I like a man that will stimulate me mentally. It's not about a sexual thing.
Right.
It's a mental thing. But with that same thing, it can also be a manipulation that they use towards your mental, and you don't know about it. So when you ask for that kind of stuff, or make sure when you say what you like in a man, you make sure it's not something that can be used against you as well.
Right.
So for me, it was a mental thing. And again, I've shared this story before, that it was one thing that was holding me towards that person, and it was transportation. And once I dropped those keys in that person's hand and I left, I cried, because that was really my hold. Like, it was always something to keep me attached to that person. And it was like a freedom that was kind of scary. because it was like, dang, I really just, I let you go. Now there's always residue, because the thing about it is this: when you know that person and you know the people that is around that person and you have mutual friends, it makes it more awkward. So you try to find a way to bring peace, and that peace turns into something that's misplaced and misunderstood.
But you know what?
So,
When even with that situation with my ex, I didn't have that problem because I had been through so much torment with him. You know what I'm
hmm,
saying? And I was like, I tried to leave several times, but the Lord would tell me, go back in the house. I tried
wow,
not being intimate with him, and God would tell me, go in there and be with your husband. You know, all this
wow,
kind of stuff because everything that was going on. And it was like, when he finally said, you know what, I want a divorce, I was like, it was like a weight was lifted off of me. No, I'm so serious. It was like a weight was lifted off of me. I was not myself. I had reverted
yeah,
back to a person that was angry all the time, frustrated all the time. I was smoking, I was drinking, I was, you know what I'm saying? I was back cussing like a sailor because, and it wasn't because of him. I was mad with myself because
right,
I was like, you know, you messed up. You made the wrong choice. You made the wrong decision. You should have never said yes. You should have never married him. You should have, you know, I was beating
yeah,
myself up. And I was so angry with myself that I started becoming this person uh, that
yeah,
I thought I had left in the past, you know,
yeah,
and I had to climb up out of that hole. That hole almost took my life, you know what I'm saying? Because I almost committed suicide. I was so miserable. And like I was saying, it wasn't him, it was myself because I made the choice. So when that thing was broken, when I gained my freedom, my liberty, I was happy. It was like I had a new lease on life. It was like I had died and came back and was
yeah,
brought back to life. You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
And everything was fresh and new. And I was like, man, this is a new opportunity. I ain't making this same mistake again. Forget that, right?
yeah,
And
yeah,
and so it was like whenever he would try to, you know, to try to want to be with me or do something, this, and the other, I will always remember he's still the same person.
yep,
You know why? Because he would call me about his relationship problems. He was just still doing the same thing. And I would end up ministering to him or counseling him as a pastor and praying for him and telling him, you need to deal with yourself. You need to let God heal you. You need to come face to face with your truth, and you need to deal with that so that you can have a better relationship, so you don't still keep going around in these cycles, you know. And that's where
yeah,
our relationship ended at, you know.
yeah.
Um,
I think one of the things that a lot of us is, sorry, this just came to my head because I don't know what I was just thinking about. Something you just said that triggered it. But what I really,
that I end up
personality.
counseling him.
No, I don't remember what it is that you just said directly, but it made me think of personality, of how when we get with someone, we become, oh, when you were talking about you didn't like who you was and that person that you became again. And it hit me because I just started thinking about each person that I was with and how I tried to fit in the
Yes,
person that they wanted to be.
right.
So I became this person. And I don't know why, but it just made me want to, I'm always in prayer for women. And like I said, I'm not perfect. Or my marriage today is not perfect. We're learning each other. But what
Hmm.
I do love, and I do have to say this, what I do love about my marriage is that I don't have to hide who I am
Right.
in this marriage. I don't. Whether it's angry, when I get mad, when I have my little spoiled moments, or when I'm goofy. I'm really a goofy person. And I love the fact that I can be that. With other men, I couldn't be that. I had to be just straightforward, just sit there. Don't smile, smile a little bit. Wear this outfit. I like you in that. You look better in this. What is wrong with you today? Like, fix yourself. And you better not do this. You better not do that. And that's the thing, that what's funny is we tell ourselves that before the men tell us that. Like we'll dress a certain way, and if they like it, okay, I got to stay in this zone because they like this. I got to stay in this zone. I got to make myself presentable like this. I
Wait a
got to
minute.
fix
Is my
myself to be like
husband
that.
still on this live? Is he watching? Is he watching? Look, because sometimes, you know, and it's a shame because my husband will say, honey, I don't like that dress. And I'll be like, I do. Ooh. And
Demetrius has hair like I wear short haircuts. I love short haircuts, and I am getting my short haircut back. But we don't have a. It's a funny debate because he does not like my short haircuts at all. So I have to baby go back and start with my. It's certain things. That's what I mean about compromise when you do get it in a marriage. I don't like when he grows that hair on his head. I don't like it. Not, no, if he's watching, I don't like it. And he like when he has his moments of I'm just chilling. I okay, day one. Okay, I see it. They go to hair. Day two, all right, it's still there. Day three, what are you doing to me, sir? Like you're not gonna shave that off. And but when it comes to I will show him short haircuts, and he'll be like, no, like I don't, or he will ignore me. He's like, I don't know what you're showing me. I'll show him a bob cut because I want to baby him in it. So I'll show him a bob cut. And he's like, yeah, I like that. That'll look good on you. That is, those of you that know, see me with the infamous gray wig on or whatever. And I showed it to him. He loves that wig. And he's like, yeah, I like it. I like that. That
I
looks
like
good
it
on
on
you.
you too.
When I try to go shorter, he starts ignoring. He's like, I don't know what you're showing me. I don't know what that is. What are you talking? I'm like, isn't this a cute look? Isn't this a cute short haircut? Yeah, for her. I'm like, but what about for me? I don't know what you're talking about. You lost me. But it's things that it's not serious. It's funny. Would I cut my hair short for without talking to my husband about it? No. I wouldn't. If I really, really, when I'm really, really ready for that, I will talk to him about it, but it will be my decision to make whether I want to do it or not. But if it's one of those he just passionate, it's things that he does, and I just passionately cannot stand it. Like he has this wild laugh that he does, and I'm like, oh my God, like, oh God, why are you laughing like that?
What the laugh
But
with
that's
the laugh with the snort and the chuckle in it?
it's that like he's choking.
But look, you know, it's like my husband, he wants me to press my hair, right? I'm like, look, I gotta go somewhere and get that done because this stuff ain't gonna stay straight. Cause as soon as I go out
You
in the
got a lot
heat,
of hair.
it's coming back up. It's coming back, and then I be looking crazy. I be looking like somebody done put my head in a blender or something. But I know he likes it straight, and so you know, every once in a while I would try to get it straight, or either I would, you know, put a weave in so it'd be straight for a while. But I can't do this. See all this stuff right here,
Yes, Lord,
man.
that's a
That's
lot.
a whole bunch of pressing.
Yeah. But the good thing is he loves the fact that my personality is in, you know, my hairstyle. When I was in my first marriage, my ex-husband never told me I was beautiful. He said I never felt the need to tell you you were beautiful. Why would I tell you that? And what I do love and now and this freedom of a marriage that I'm in, and it's not just freedom I could do what I want to do. It's freedom of having someone that really loves you for you and
Right.
see you for who you
And
are
not trying
and
to change you
encourages
into something once you yeah.
exactly.
And that
And
was
what I
my
love,
problem with my ex, and I think that's why
yeah,
now I'm like, you know what? And I tried that. I tried to become everything that he wanted me to be. You know what
right,
I'm saying? And that's why I was so frustrated, angry, and hurting so bad because I was trying to make myself into what this person wanted me to be, but you know, it still wasn't enough for him.
right,
You know, it
yep,
still had to be other people. And so it's like now, you know, I'm like, okay, when when you met me, I was like this. So why are you trying to change me now?
right.
You know what I'm saying?
Somebody asked,
That's the thing where I'm at now. Not saying that my husband is, but it's like
yeah.
this is it.
I like being relaxed. The one thing my husband was on was I wear heels every day, all day. I can wear heels all day, every day. And he'll be like, you don't have to wear heels today, right? We're not going anywhere. You can wear tennis shoes. And that's when I realized I didn't own not one single pair of tennis shoes. So for Christmas, I showed this past Christmas, well, last year, he bought me 2 pair of tennis shoes. Then he's like, I'm not buying you any more tennis shoes. Why? Because you're not even wearing them. The kids are wearing them. Like, what was the purpose of buying me tennis shoes? I wasn't used to it, but now we work a job where we have to wear like
Yeah.
shoes that, comfortable shoes. And as I am getting older, I realize that I can't do heels every day, all day. And
Man,
a
who
lot of the
you
stuff
telling?
that, right, it's about compromising. Like it goes both ways. He compromised on stuff that I like when it comes to food, I don't know. I'm gonna be honest. When it comes to us going out to eat, I took that over because I honestly don't know what my husband likes. Restaurants, he loves expensive restaurants. I'm not used to that. You give me some Chili's or Red Lobsters or I'm good. And he's more of a he can go to I don't even know an expensive place to name, but he can
Maestros
go
or
to
somewhere like that.
Maestro's, crustaceans and all that stuff. That's his type of thing, and he has to feed me into that kind of stuff. But he'll normally eat whatever it is that I eat and don't complain about it. And I just found out what hurt my heart is that he don't like chilies. At first I thought he was playing, but he really don't like chilies at all. At all. And that's my favorite place to go to. And I haven't been to Chili's in almost a year. And it's
So
like
let's
he
talk
passion.
about this though. Let's talk about this though. With and then we gonna get ready to get off here because I know we've been on here for 2 hours.
Oh
But
wow.
I'm just playing. I don't know how long we've been
Oh,
on here.
an hour.
Okay. But for real, after all that, being single, getting married, getting a divorce, how did you prepare yourself? Because I heard you say that you wanted to be married again. Me,
Hmm.
I wasn't sure, but I left the door open and said, God, if you're going to send them, that's the only way it's going to happen. And, but I was like, I'm good. Okay. But if you want me to be married, you gonna have to send them. They gonna have to find me while I'm working in the vineyard because I ain't looking for nothing, right? And
Hmm.
so, how did you prepare yourself for your next?
It's weird to me, but it's funny. A few years ago, I sat with some of my friends and we were sitting and talking about how, we were going to get married and, come to each other's house and drink wine outside, listening to some Sade. We always talk like that. And I always got excited about marriage. And my mindset really was on, I was going to be with this other person and our whole life was going to be based on cheating on each other. And that was just going to be it. Like, I'm being really honest. But in my heart, I knew that I wanted to marry someone who captured. And whoever sees me now is gonna love me, and he's gonna see. Did I freeze? Can you hear me?
I can hear you now. That was
Oh,
earlier.
I said. Oh, and I said that I'm gonna start being acting like a wife. I'm gonna start doing this. And it just started happening. And I said, whoever this man is, the first thing he's gonna see is that's my wife. So all I kept doing was, even in the midst of going through whatever it was I was going through, I kept saying, I'm somebody's wife, God. I'm somebody's wife. I'm somebody's wife. Okay, get my life together. Start doing things that I wouldn't normally do. Sometimes you got to be silent. Everybody can't come to your house no more. You got to shut down some stuff. And that started happening. And what happened was I just started working more. And nobody was able to contact me like they used to. I didn't kick it like I used to. I didn't go out like I used to. I was more at home. I started cooking a lot more with the kids, and I don't like cooking. I'm going to be honest. I hate it. But I started doing that a little bit more, and I started taking notice of, even though I lived in Watts, God told me that, okay, then treat this like it's that house you want. So I started cleaning and doing stuff that I would normally sit around the house and be lazy for a day and not want to do anything. But I found myself cleaning. I'll spend Saturdays cleaning up extra. Like, it was preparation, to be honest with you. And I never asked a man, like, do you see us getting married, or do you do that? Can you see this? Can you see that? But when it came down to who I'm married to now, it was one of those, would he marry me, or am I marriage material? But I never said it to him. I just watched his actions. And it was the most, I knew it when we went to the mall for my birthday and he took me shopping for my birthday. I was like, this man is going to propose to me. And to think, when you think of Demetrius, you think of a man that, he'll get on one knee or have a whole band or something. You don't think of this goofy, like, I'm blushing type of dude. And we went into the ring store, and he bought the ring, and it was February the 16th, the day that he, the day that he threw my birthday dinner for me. And he bought the ring, and I said, so what is this? What does this mean? And he started sweating, and he was so nervous and fanning with his hat on. So he proposed to me in the most cutest, weirdest, but I knew it then. I said, yeah, we're going to get married. And I had to settle in my mind that I'm becoming this man's wife. And it scared me because I wasn't going to tell my ex-husband. We have children together, but I did not feel the need to tell him anything. But I did end up, I don't know how he heard about it, but he heard about it and he questioned me, and I told him, yeah. But I knew, to be perfectly honest with everyone that's on here, I knew, looking at the man that I'm with now, I knew that we were destined to be together. I just didn't know in what way.
Right.
I knew that looking at him and feeling his heart, that this man was going to be in my life for the rest of my life. But I did not know. And I tell him to this day, a lot of people don't believe that. I'm shocked that we are together like this, because I knew he would be in my life, maybe a business partner. And I had to go and, like, God, please take these feelings that I have from him away from me, because now it's becoming real to me. And I don't understand it. Like, people don't get that. But I told him, I said, I knew you were going to be in my life forever. I just didn't know it was like this. I literally married my best friend. And I've always wanted that. I prayed and told God in detail, I want to marry a man who is of honor, who is strategic, who has an integrity. I want to marry a man of character. I want to marry a man who understands me. I want to marry a man who knows that God comes first, no matter what. I want to marry a man that knows I have children and he won't use that against me. And if he has children, I won't use that against him. We will treat our children like they're ours, and we won't let anyone tell us different. The funny thing is, our kids blend in together so good. When people look at our profile wedding picture, they can't believe that, our children are not with each other.
Right.
But I said, God, I want to marry a man whose passion is his family, regardless of what his background was, whether he had a father or not. He's going to take from that and build his family, because that's what I want, a foundation. And I prayed. It was one night I prayed that, and next thing you know, I was with this guy, and everything that I prayed for, it's like, oh my God. We have our setbacks. There are things that happen in marriages that
As
you
in
can't
all
control.
relationships, yes.
You live, learn, you grow, you glow, you understand, you get better, you acknowledge each other. You never let those things separate you from who you're married to. Is one of those that's quick. It's quick for the enemy to come in and be like, okay, yep, this happened. And you be like, dang, I should have married somebody else. Or dang, I should have waited. I should have waited on old boy over here. But what I'm most happy about is that I'm married, and I honor who I'm married to, who God, because everything that I pray for. Like Sierra the singer, those of you that heard her, she said, I prayed in detail for my husband. She just didn't know it would be who she's married to.
Right.
I prayed in detail for my husband. I just didn't know it would be the man that I'm married to. I didn't know who it was going to be. But our hearts connected before anything. So I can honestly say I married my best friend because he get on my nerves like a best friend would get on your nerves.
Oh Lord. Well, I don't know. I it just happened, And I said, you know. Some of y'all heard the story. We ain't gotta go back over it. But I think that um preparation is necessary though.
Yeah.
Um Period. Anyway, even if you don't have a prospect or think you're gonna get married again, you still gotta heal, let yourself heal from everything that you've been through so that it doesn't taint anything else you're involved in. And this
Right.
one thing I wanted to say is that when I remember the day, I had no idea. I don't even think my husband had any idea that he was going to propose to me when he proposed to me. But I was like in shock. Um, I think I had came here and I preached a conference, women's conference. Went back home. Or was it women's conference revival slash something? I don't know. Went back home. Came back for his anniversary, which was a couple days before his birthday. And in front of the church, he called me up there to the pulpit at the end of service and was like, he started crying. And I was like,
Was I there?
and it's crazy because a friend of mine, Apostle April Coffey, shared that picture from that day somebody took when he was standing up there introducing me right before he proposed to me. And I was like in shock. He was crying. I started crying. He had no ring. But the next day we went and got a ring.
Aww.
I was like, wow. But when I told my ex I was getting ready to get married and move to California, you don't know that man. What you gonna do that for? When you moving all the way to California? I was like, look, I said, I didn't have to tell you. I said, but I did it out of the kindness of my heart, just to let you know I'm not going to be in North Carolina anymore. You're not going to be able to call me for me to counsel you and all that stuff. So you need to get your stuff together. I said, and I'm not asking your permission.
Right.
He was like, I know. I mean, well, I'm happy for you if you happy. But it was like, this dude.
Most of the men deleted me when they when they when they found out that I was in a serious relationship, and then when we announced our engagement, and next thing I know on Facebook, because majority of the guys that I used to talk to, we were all friends on Facebook, and I didn't too much care about that because it was Facebook, like it is what it is.
Right.
But once they found out that I was in a serious relationship and this dude was like not in hiding and he wasn't hiding me, or it was for real public. I mean, I was like, wait a minute, I thought I was friends with this person. Deleted. They deleted me off Facebook. I was like, what the? But yep, that it was funny to me. He and even the guys that still tried to hold on, and they would say little sneaky stuff to see if it was real or not. And my husband would be like, who is this dude? I'm like, I don't know. They didn't pop up until now, till you came along. They just thought he was like, oh, okay, I'll handle it for you. He started deleting them off. Mm-mm. We have one Facebook now, and it's not because of trust issues. It just worked better because first we were doing business stuff. So this one Facebook works, but every once in a while, it's always somebody that's trying to test the waters to see. So he'll respond to them in inbox. The next thing I know, they're blocked, and I'll be like, "Hey, I wonder what happened to so and so." Oh, I blocked him.
Yeah.
Why? Because he said this. I'm like, wow.
Yeah,
So yeah, when
somebody
they
always be
found out I
trying to
was
test
married,
something.
yeah, it's always
They get tired
yeah.
though.
That's another story. That's another story. But yeah, you get those people who, take out their pen and paper and they start thinking they're going to pass a test, and some of them fail. And I pray for those who,
Miserably.
who think that they got the answers and they do not. So, that's no sub. I'm just saying it does happen. You do get people that are, hey, what's going on? They act like they didn't know you were married. Oh, I didn't know you got
Exactly.
married.
Get out my inbox.
Yeah.
Don't you see that I'm married to Bishop Horace Allen on here? Thank you very much.
Or they put a congratulations, I just heard, and but the way they say it is like, oh, you went. Then you got people that's like, oh, so I heard you went and got married on me. What the
Who
heck?
are
Like,
you?
huh?
Who are you?
Yeah.
Are you
Then
the
you have
father that was
those,
supposed to walk me down the aisle or something? What?
right? Then you have those women's that do the test. I call it the test text, because they text with the hey, haven't heard from you, how you doing? Or they get a call and, hey, I was just checking on you, congratulations, by the way. Yeah, why are you calling? Like, why? Just push the like button and go on with your life. So those things do happen, people. You do get those, those sidebar congratulations and, oh, I didn't know, and all that stuff. But while you were single, nobody said boo to you. Nobody asked you anything. Nobody asked you how your day was. Is it sunny on your side or nothing? But it does happen. I laugh now. At first it was kind of scary. It's like, what the heck? Like, but now you just have to laugh. If you're committed and you love the person that you
Right.
with, then you're gonna have your good and your bad.
Yeah.
But if you love that person and God is in your marriage, God is in your relationship, it will succeed. I will say that.
And
If that's my
that's
closing
the
mark, that's
thing
my
that you
close.
must do is to keep
Yeah.
God first. And that's one thing,
Yeah.
that I've come to learn because man, I was a whoremonger. I never tell no lie and say that I wasn't because I was. But I'm so glad God delivered me
What is
from
that somebody
from
put
that
on your
from that whoremongering spirit. Oh, somebody's hungry. What does that mean? Taco,
Diesel?
hamburger, taco,
He's
salad,
hungry.
French fry, whatever. I don't know what
I'm
that
in
means.
here talking nice about him and he puts food on on
Yeah,
the
and
line.
so it's like I don't want for anything. I don't want for anything. I'm not lacking anything. I don't need to desire anybody else to be in my relationship. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? And I'm like, I'm not even looking at no other dude like, oh, I wonder what that'd be like or whatever, whatever. You know what I'm saying? For what?
Right.
You know, I'm just trying to chill, live my life, be happy, be blessed. I ain't trying to have no whole bunch of confusion. Now I don't want that heartache. I don't want that headache. I don't want the stress. I love my husband. That's the only man that I got eyes for. Yes. I'm checking him out. I'm watching him. Yeah, I'm watching him. And but the thing is that it's like you see so much of it that people with these wandering eyes and carrying on, and it's just sad. It's sad. It's sad.
Yeah.
It's just sad.
You
It's
have to
just so
continue
sad.
to You have to continue to pray because there was a stage, even with me and my husband, where trust was an issue. And
Really?
it's annoying.
Oh, you want a whole, you see salad? What kind of, that's tossed salad?
Don't say toss salad. He'll take it somewhere else.
Look,
Don't
he
say.
got a hamburger taco and a salad bowl, and then he's standing like this with his hands like this, and then he got salad, then he got the eyes looking at, then he got the eyes, and he got salad. What?
He said, "Oh no, we don't
Toss no
toss
salad.
salad."
Okay, all right.
D- oh,
Lady Culpepper said he's
Al-
really hungry.
he really is. I'll feed him. He'll get fed.
Woo!
See,
I
he
grilled
takes
some
my mind to
catfish. I
different.
got some grilled
Oh my
catfish.
god, it's some catfish in there, honey. If you want.
Some grilled catfish with some stir fried rice
Wow,
with a little bit of
this is the
vegetables in
type
it.
of
Look. Yeah.
this is the type of stuff that I deal with, ladies and gentlemen. And as soon as I go in there and look him in his face, he's gonna be looking at me like, "So you didn't get the signs? What the?
What?
Oh!"
You need to get off our live. You doing too much now. You doing too much. You doing too much. See, this is why this is for women only.
What?
Y'all, you know what I'm saying. But listen, ladies, y'all ain't nobody ask. Okay, I'm going right. You ain't going. You stalkerish. You stalkerish. So I'm saying, ladies, y'all ain't asking us no questions, no comments. Let's hear from you before we get off of here tonight, or before Takika pass out from laughing at her husband. My goodness,
Whoa!
5 years straight.
Oh, whoa!
Okay, I know you a stalker.
He bold.
Woo! Woo!
He is bold.
Listen,
You mad bold, sir.
look.
Look, y'all. He got out the hospital bed a new man and don't care.
He got out the hospital. I got a question. Oh Lord, do you
Oh
even
God.
want you to ask your question? That's my question. What is your question? Y'all have to watch him because he got
Oh my
he got
God.
tendencies that he borderline with some mental illness. So y'all had to excuse him.
Whoa.
But
He's
we love you
something.
though. What's your question?
This man said 5 years. All right.
Yes, and actually coming up on uh 5 years. Is it gonna be 5 years? My anniversary. It's gonna be our 5th year anniversary. Should you ever stop flirting with your spouse? No, you should never stop flirting with your spouse. Every once in a while, I smack mine on the butt. You know,
What? You know when he hear that he gonna
is
ask
he
you
on?
why'd you tell
Is
everybody
he on
that?
the live? Look, ain't nothing wrong with that.
He
That's
gonna give
my
you that look.
husband. That's my honey. I can do that. It's mine. Look,
I don't know if I flirt or not because I don't know if I'm a flirt. I don't know if I flirt with my husband or not. I'm
you probably do. My
I'm
kid said, "Ha
goofy.
ha ha!" I do the same. I know that's right.
I smack my husband on the butt, but he's uncomfortable with that because it's not much.
Look,
But he likes when I rub his head, though. I'm just saying, she be talking my. Wait, what? She be talking.
oh,
my attention
Yeah, that's
from.
wrong.
Oh, I
Yeah,
be
that's
taking
wrong.
his attention from
Talk
the
about, is it
pulpit.
wrong to end church early because how sexy she be dressing? I'm asking for a friend.
What?
You ain't asking for no friend.
No, but I think, yeah, I do. I rub his hair. But when he preach good and he be looking good up there in them suits that he be wearing, and he just have my attention, I be all in every spirit I can be in. Like, yes, honey. Especially
My
when he
mouth is
preach
open. Did you
good.
see that?
When he preach good, I'm like, oh man,
I don't want
we
you to
need to
see
get
that
a
comment that he put down there.
what?
Yeah. But we're going to move on to Dr. Carol
What?
Daniels' question. She said, Apostle Michelle, what was the length of time between, I guess, I don't know, me and my husband dating, and how did you know he was the one? Dr. Carol, are you talking about how long we were dating before we got married or before he proposed, or what? Because I have a certain belief about dating, saved, and I really don't believe in dating saved. I'm sorry, that's just me. I'm like, because so many people have tried to approach me and like, can I take you out to eat, da 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 da, and I'm like, this for seriously. I was like, no, I don't have time to waste, because why am I gonna go out with you and you ain't my husband? I ain't your wife. Why am I gonna waste time dating you and miss out on the person that God has for me? And so I would tell
Hmm.
him no, and they'd be like, why? I was like, because God didn't tell me you was my husband,
Wow.
and they would get mad, and I didn't care. So when I met my husband, the man that was to become my husband, um it was crazy, because everything in me was telling me not to go to this event, but I went. And I said, between the first husband and the one you have now. Oh, how long was it between my first husband? Well, shoot. Wait a minute, honey, we can't do first husband, because my first husband, I was 19 years old. And so you talking about the last one, the first one I was saved with. The first one I was saved with, and the one that I have now, it was actually 3 years. It was 3 years between the two. Um, I was separated from, well, me and my husband's marriage was over July 20, June 2011. I met Bishop Horace Allen. I met him November the 5th, 2013. That's when God made the connection between us, but we never did talk or anything like that. To say, you know what, God is saying such and such and such. No, we didn't have that conversation. We didn't start really talking to each other, and it was about ministry stuff, until February of 2014. And it's a whole long story about that. And when we were talking in February, that's when we decided, after prayer and stuff like that, that this is a God thing. God wants us to be together. It was confirmation, because what God was saying to me was the same thing that God was saying to him. But we didn't know that until we came back together and were talking in February. But we both felt that connection. And so we decided that in February that, we are meant to be together. We're going to get married. We're going to get to know each other and get to know each other's family. But ultimately, it was we were getting married. It was in July of 2014 when he actually proposed to me. And it was October 2014 when I walked down the aisle and we did the thing. October the 4th. 2014, I became Bishop Horace Allen's wife. Well, he was bishop designate at the time. Yeah. So it was approximately 3 years. What
What?
about what? Um, between the first husband. Okay, I hope I answered that. And then this one says, what about the women that's questioning if their spouse is still the one? What God joined together, do the scripture applies to marriages that God had nothing to do with? You know
Oh,
what?
wow.
Um, what? Well, as it relates to that question, Bishop, as it relates to that question, if they're questioning if their spouse is still the one, there's some internal issues within their relationship that they probably need to go have some counseling. There's some things that need to be worked out between that husband and wife. Probably mostly some emotional hurt and pain or whatever that they're going through. Yeah. Most of the time, it's just a failure to communicate. But anyway, any other questions? Let me see what we got on here. What we got on here? Can you see the questions? Just trying to help somebody. Okay, yeah. Yeah. Okay, are there any other questions? Anything, relationship questions, anything like that? Anybody want to ask specifically to Minister Takika or myself, or just about the topic that we're talking about, period? Who is peeping in? You looking
Peeping
at
in?
somebody.
Oh, I was looking at my nails because I
Oh,
need a feel.
man.
Oh, hi, Uncle Melvin. Melvin Jackson and my godmother, April Jackson, have been married for a very long time. I love their marriage. I love them. I grew up with them. So I see some people on here that have been, well, who promotes their marriages, and I take my hat off to them because it's
Amen.
hard to promote that. So some of you guys I don't know personally, but I see you promoting your wives and your husbands um, on social media out of happiness,
Yes.
regardless of anything. And you can feel the difference. That's one thing. You can feel when somebody is honestly promoting their relationship out of happiness. A lot of people, used to think that what me and my husband, when we would promote our relationship, it was part of like somebody asked us, was this just a
Like a
business
marketing
relationship?
strategy.
Yeah, no, honey, this ain't business. I'm not finna go through all this struggle just for it to be a business
Come
relationship.
on now.
So no, 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 no. I am married to this man, and if it was business, this was a bad move because it's not it's not help it's not conducive to it, so we in this for the long haul. It's He worked my nerves, I work his. We have our moments, but this is not a business move, so we put all of those public things. We still have real talk with DMT and all that stuff, but we're trying to focus more
Ooh,
on
you
our
need to
marriage.
stop.
What he say?
You need to stop. You need to stop.
So if you realize God didn't put it together, how do you fix that? Oh, never mind. Let's be messy. Someone
I'm being
that's
messy. That was for
watching
someone that's watching Married
watching
Paper
Mary
Divorced
in
in the
the.
Bed.
Oh,
Well,
you didn't mean to text that to me.
we okay. Now you
My
gonna
phone is
leave.
in.
Now you gonna leave? Really? My God, today. We
He
praying,
didn't mean to
we
text me that.
praying,
My
we
phone is in the
fasting
living room.
on you. We praying and fasting on you.
See, this is what I'm talking about. Lord. Ugh.
Remember what the prophet said, new man, new man, new man, new man.
She said, take his phone. he got too many of them. So if I take one, he gonna get on another one. So
Or get on the computer.
yeah,
You
get on the
man.
laptop. He's supposed to be doing business on
Hey,
his laptop.
but guess what? If you take it, he can't move as fast as he used to.
That's not funny. I'm not laughing.
You know you are. No, but seriously, about what you just said, what you put on there, for real though. This is the thing. People always gonna make an excuse when stuff don't work out the way they wanted to because they lazy and they don't want to try to make their relationship
Yeah,
work, and they just want to get out of it because they saw something else that they want to do that they think is going to be a whole lot better. And so they say, oh, well, God didn't put it together. This can't be God, because
yeah,
you get out of your relationship what you put into it. If you
yep,
expect your husband or your wife to treat you any better than you treating them, you sadly mistaken. You got to spend
yep,
time and you got to cultivate your relationship. If you too busy being a busybody wife, and you spending more time doing other stuff than being a wife to your husband and spending time with him, then that's what you're going to get. Now, husband, if you ain't spending no time with your wife and you think the only time you're going to spend with her is when y'all get in the bed together, you sadly mistaken. She needs some stimulation emotionally, mentally. We need,
yep,
time to be spent together as a man and
right,
woman, a husband and wife, getting to know each other, talking, communicating. That's what works for me as a woman. Spend time with me. If you don't want to spend no time with me, then I feel like you don't care. I feel like you
right,
don't love me. I feel like I'm
yep,
just here. Why am I here? I
yep,
start getting them kind of thoughts going in my head. Why am I here?
yep, yep,
you know and so it's a two-way street. You got to take care of your relationship. If you don't,
yep,
then of course things are not going to be well. Things it, you know
yep,
if you don't take care of your physical body, your body is going to get sick and it's going to tell you there's something wrong with me. Same thing with
yep,
your marriage is going to be sick if you don't take care of it, and it's going to start acting up. It's going to start falling
yep,
apart. Things are going to happen.
yep.
And so
My
you have
grandmother
to
used to
take
tell
care
me
of
that
your relationship.
your first ministry is at home with your family. You have to get that together. You can't have
Yeah.
a broken household and go in church and preach to people about togetherness.
Come on.
Because how
Come
can
on.
you do that? You're falsifying. I don't listen to, and I say this again, I'm not one that get up and say I'm a prophet or any of those things, but I sit and I listen to certain people speak. And I ask myself, how can you get up and speak when your life is not promoting what you're giving up there? That's not a good look, Chief. If my home is broken and whatever it is going on between me and my husband, regardless of anything, and I'm not talking about the little spats that we have and then we go to church and then he has to preach. I'm not talking about those. I'm talking about that there's no connection at all.
Come on.
There's no involvement at all. You rather spend majority of your time outside of the house than spend it inside of the house with your wife and your family. And then when you come in, the first thing you say is there anything to eat? I ain't seen you in 15 hours, but the first thing you want to ask me is that? No, sir, no,
Come
ma'am, that it
on.
don't work like that.
Call you on the phone, be
Ministry
like, what
starts
you
at
cook?
home. Ministry starts at home. You have to get home taken care of first before you go out into the world and try to preach to people out there. You're trying to save people's lives, but your family is drowning. That it don't match, like it don't work like that. I can't have my husband, I'm standing there and I'm drowning, but he giving floats to everybody else.
Woo,
What's
Jesus.
happening? You
Jesus.
can't do
Jesus.
that. I'm not going to be in a characteristic marriage for you because of your title. And the one
Come
thing I
on.
love is that my husband knows that I'm not going to sit up here just because you're bishop, whoever you are, and your pastor, whoever. I'm not going to sit on the front row and be silent and just be the wife and smile. That's not going to be, that's not going to last for a long time with me. That's not going to work for Takika. So my husband, what I love is that we have to fix it at home. Now, sometimes, like I said, when we have our situations or we have a disagreement with each other, we'll put it on pause because we have ministry to take care of. But we will come home and talk about the ride home would be a tense one, but we get out what we need to get out. And
Right.
maybe sometimes God, not even sometimes, but God had to be in that for us to come back and revisit that situation again.
Right.
Maybe we both needed to be in church and let go and let God, so we can come back and revisit that with a level head.
Right.
Because some it happens like that. I'm happy and I thank God that I have women around me that are married to people in high positions, whether you're a pastor or a bishop or whatever. I'm just saying that because my husband is a bishop. That's why I'm speaking on that. Some of y'all don't have husbands in ministry. Your husband works for, have businesses. But I'm happy that I've had women around me to tell me, girl, we ain't perfect. We had an argument just yesterday that lasted until this morning. We finally made up.
Come on.
But you have to make sure home is fixed. You're not going to sit up there and you continue to use a shower. If the pipe is showing you that that water is splashing out of there, you have to fix it to use it. You can't continue to put your family out there and broadcast it like it's perfect when it's broken. You have to fix that to use that. That's one thing I do not agree with. And I've seen many of women crying and calling people because they're unhappy and they want to get out, but they're stuck because their commitment to someone that's pretending for the other people out there. This is not a show.
That's right.
It is not. This is a ministry. Now, if you feel like you need to have 15 other women in your life and you need the fan club, don't get married.
Exactly.
That's to men and to women. If you feel like you need the attention of majority men around you, don't get married, because this is not for you, boo-boo, because God will step in and tear you all the way up in that marriage and you won't know what hit you. This is not a joke. Marriages have gone down. They have gone downhill because people think getting married and cheating is cute. It is not.
It's a game.
It is not.
Let me lock one down, and then I can have fun with all the rest of them.
Yeah, it is not. People are getting hurt, and people are literally starting to lose their mental over stuff like this, over things like this. People are killing each other over things like this.
That's right.
You have wives and mistresses fighting each other over these things. It is not healthy. If you feel like you need to be a pimp your whole life, then don't get married. You don't need all these women around. I don't need all these men around me. I don't need my husband to question, why is this man around you? Why is this man around you? Why is this man?
But this is the thing that we should really be thinking about, though. What, are you not worried about your character? Are you not worried about your integrity, how people view you as being a bishop or a pastor or whatever the case may be, and you stand up there and you're supposed to be preaching a message of salvation and deliverance and healing for people to be set free and all of that, but you preaching something that you don't even believe or partake in yourself. You preaching something and you ain't even eating the whole scroll. You eating bits and pieces of what you want to eat, what tastes good to you, what feel good to you. You know what I'm saying? What makes you feel like you can look down on other people because you feel like you high and mighty, but you can have a whole harem full of women, or you can have a woman here and a woman there, or you know what I'm saying? Everything else is more important than your family or your home life or your marriage, and you're just not really, come on. What is the problem? What is the problem for real?
And for ladies, I'll say this. I know we pray and we stay and we pray and we stay. But sometimes you have to pray, Lord, help me find a way. If this is where you want me to be at, help me find a way to get through this. Because then you end up with a marriage that's numb. I mean, that you guys are just walking past each other. You don't even know, you don't even care at this point. I know women that are married now, and Pastor Barbara Johnson said it clear. Some ladies are not, whether it's first wives or president wives or whatever it is, they're not happy. They're just settled. We got to stop that. We don't have to take stuff like that. We really don't. No. My first marriage, I was just settled. I was so scared to have the title of divorced by my name that I tolerated a lot of stuff that my ex-husband did. You have women that I've literally seen women that's like, we got an agreement. He do him, I do me. Okay, boo-boo, if that's your lifestyle, then that's your lifestyle. That's between you and God. But I know for me, where I'm at in my life with my husband, I don't need those burdens on me. Either we gonna work through this or we can work our way out of it. That's how I see it going. And you go, may the good Lord watch. And I find it ridiculous as we get older that you still have people that think it's cute when you're in a marriage. It is not cute.
But this is the
And I
thing
know,
that people fail to realize, Takika. At the end of the day, at the end of the day, with all the foolishness, all the cruddiness, all the stuff that you think you're getting away with, at the end of the day, when you old and gray, or you sick
hmm,
and you need somebody to be there for you and take care of you, who's gonna be there?
right,
You know what I'm saying?
right,
Is it gonna be your side piece? Is it gonna
right.
be the piece you sending money to, that you see every once in a while? Is it going to be the one? Come on, is it going to be the one that you whining and dining? Is it going to be the one that you know what I'm saying, you giving money to go out of town for their birthday, or go to plays and whatever, because that's your other boo over there? You know what I'm saying? Or is it going to be the wife, the one that you took vows with, that's putting up with all your foolishness, that really don't have to?
Right,
You know what I'm saying? Who's it gonna
right,
be? Who gonna be the
right,
one? Because see,
right.
the ones that you spending all this money and stuff on and buying all this fancy stuff, when your money gone, where they gonna be?
Oh, wow.
Where are they gonna be? Where are they gonna be? They gonna be with the next one.
Woo, wow.
But your wife gotta be there to hear you crying and moaning and complaining and all this stuff about your situation, loving on you, trying to encourage you, and all this stuff, rubbing your back and everything, and tell baby it's gonna be okay. But you gonna treat her like crap?
Yeah, this ain't no joke. Some people are becoming,
Yeah,
they're
I mean,
becoming
but I'm
crazy.
saying this is what we see. This is
Yep.
what we see. And it's like, when are you gonna get a clue? One day you gonna be old and you gonna need somebody to be there for you. You better get it together.
Man, I used to ask my dad, because when my dad got out of jail and he had women just around him and he'd be going on dates and I'm like, Dad, are you getting married again? And he told me honestly, he said, Kika, I married your mama. That was my wife. I'm not trying to get married again. I said, so why do these, when that one woman thought she knew she was gonna marry my dad. And it was only one woman outside of my mom that my dad would have married, but he honestly, so he said, yeah, I messed that up myself. So because that happened, he said, no, I'm not going to get married again. Why? Because I'm not going to promise a woman something that I'm really not going to give her.
Right.
I'd rather be single and just live my life. He was like, he was 50 years old. He said, what am I going to do? The person that I would have asked to marry, I messed that up. So now I'm out here and I'm just going to live like this. I'm not marrying nobody. My kids is grown. I got my grandkids to think about. He told me, he said, I don't want to waste any more of my time investing in a marriage when I know I'm not going to be committed to that. I was like, oh, okay, that's cool. I
But
get that. And
one thing I
literally,
hear though people say, one thing I hear people say, and it saddens me, it actually sickens me. People say, especially people in the church, you know what I'm saying? They get
hmm,
married to people, even if they really don't want to be with them like that and they want to be with other people. They get married to certain people for a certain look, for a certain kind of whatever. And then they say too, oh, well, the reason why I got married, because you can have sex. It's legal. It's legal.
what makes it hard for many is society tend to glorify side chicks.
Yeah,
Um, Janae, is that from that's
Johnny.
Johnny from the church, right? I'll say this: I was a side chick, and
I
what
was one too,
glory,
but not in the church.
what what made them? I was raised in church, and I'm not going to even lie. I'm gonna be perfectly honest with you. What made me, and I guess that's why I can speak on it now. Why people glorified me as a side chick was because I knew what I spoke on earlier. I knew the stuff other people didn't know. and everybody would look at me, and all I had to do was arch my eyebrow, and you knew immediately. Like when I was at a different church, and I don't want to say that I was this person's side chick, because I was there before he was married, and I don't want to put that out there like that, but I was there. And what made me, why people glorified me was because I played the role. I knew what to do and how to do it. And whatever their thought process was of me, I didn't pay attention to that. I still did what I needed to do. I sat where I was supposed to sit at. I would get up. I was involved in everything, because that's what you do when you're a side chick. You get involved in everything, 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 because it's making your presence known, but being silent at the same time.
Right.
That's what happens. That's why this day I see them, and instead of me going, oh, this and that, no, I pray for them. And the reason why they're glorified is because they step into an arena, and it's like all eyes on me, because I'm stepping into this arena where people dared me and said that I couldn't step into. But he
But the
gave me the
problem is
authority and the
really
power to do that.
immaturity of character on
Yeah.
behalf of those the side chick and low self-esteem. I'm just gonna say it like that. And the people that's glorifying it. You know what I'm saying? Because ain't no way. When I was in the world, I did it. But I wasn't trying to be out in front of nobody. You know what I'm saying? While I was messing with somebody's husband. Look, that was on the hush hush. I didn't want nobody to know what I was doing. I wasn't trying to do all that. But then one of them messed around and left his wife. I mean, what you go do that for?
What?
And so, I'm like, man, but and then I had to repent.
You know what's so
I
funny
had to
about this? I'm
repent and I
sorry.
had to ask for forgiveness from the woman. The Lord made me do that, and I had to do it. It was the hardest thing I had to do, but I had to do it. You know what I'm saying?
It's
To get
it's
myself right. But you know, did I
for
feel like I loved
Johnny.
myself less?
I didn't love myself at all. I'm
I
going to be
didn't either.
perfectly honest with you.
I had
I didn't love
some
myself
things
at all.
wrong. I didn't like myself. I'm just being
I
real.
was publicly, once I stepped into my house, Johnny, after all of that performing and stuff that I did, for my puppet master at that time, once I walked into the house, I broke down and cried, because at the end of the day, I'm not being promoted. You're promoting your soon to be, or the person you're actually in a relationship with. I have to sit back and share my tears and heartache with my friends and drink it over and get up and still do the same thing over again. So I didn't
And
love
act
myself.
like
I
you
didn't love
happy
myself at all.
and act like you happy and
Right.
act like you excited for them.
Yeah, honey, I loved so much. I did lose. I lost myself. I didn't care. I didn't care, because at that given moment, it was like, forget it. I had to shut me down so I can be this character that I put on. So no, I did not love myself at all. And it sucked, because in the back of my mind, what my heart was whispering to my ear, girl, you're worth it. But I didn't want to hear it, because in those moments, I just was trying to be. I can't say enjoy or anything. I was just trying to be. I didn't want to be a side piece, because you also, with the girls, while there's laughter, there's people laughing with you, but you also have people laughing
At
at
you.
you.
That's
You
right.
have women shaking their head in disgust about you. How could you? And the funny thing is that everybody knows you by that title. You're known as that side piece. You're going to be just like, now I'm married, and a lot of people don't. Some people know, but if they hear the story from other people when it comes to me and my husband now, I'm the side piece. I'm the side chick. I'm the this. I'm the that. I'm the whore and all this stuff. And it was heartbreaking at first. But one thing my husband told me, and I had to stand on that to this day, is that nobody was there in that discussion between me, you, and that other person. So nobody will ever know the whole truth. They'll know what sounds good,
Right.
and they'll take that and run with it. because it sounds good. I've lost friends who were side pieces over this because it was a shameful thing. Why are you ashamed? Why are you acting like you're so bothered by this? You should be one of the ones that is happy for me
Right.
because I got married and I'm not in your position right now.
Right.
But it happens like that. But I told my husband when I was hurt over the things that was being said, even people that knew the story and still turned around and said things. And I found out stuff this past year long about people who literally have put me under the bus. Was supposed to be my family friend, whatever you want to call it. But my husband told me, he said it was nobody in that conversation but me, you, and that other person. So if you're going to continue to let these people hurt you with what they are assuming, then you're not going to be able to enjoy where we are. So I literally had to let that go because I had to remember I was in that three persons meeting of what went down between us. So I now when I get called a side piece, like somebody hit me up anonymously and was like, I hope you enjoy this because he's going to do the same thing to you and all this other stuff. I was like, what the heck? Like, really? This must be from a bitter person. Like, I'm literally happy in my life and we have our ups and downs, but for the most part, I'm happy and I'm satisfied.
Right.
So you can continue to call me a side piece, but in this situation, that was not the case at all. But I have been a side piece and I did not love me at all because I put myself in that position. And not only did it bring shame to me, but it brought shame to my children because you think they're young and they don't know. These kids know more than we think they do.
Right.
They hear more than we think they hear.
That's right.
They know it.
And we got to remember that they watching us and they're learning from us how to treat even their
Right.
own selves or how to evaluate their own worth because they watch
Yep.
us, especially as women.
Yep.
And when we devalue ourselves and we settle for somebody that has somebody else, and they
Yep.
don't value us for who we are, and we just settle for that because we want somebody in our lives, our children are seeing it, our daughters are seeing that, and they're like, well, shoot, if my mom don't feel like she deserved to be number one or she deserves somebody to love her 100% like she love and care about them, why should I?
Yep.
This must be all that
Yep.
I deserve, and so we
And that's
really
a
gotta we gotta watch that.
I would say this to men that have daughters. I would say this, be careful because when you tell, if there's a man that comes along and wants to marry your daughter, or you feel like I'm about to test this man, you better treat my daughter good, then you better make sure because you are the first love in your daughter's life. And I don't mean that in a nasty way. I mean
Oh,
that you're her father. You're the first man that she
yeah.
sees.
Sorry.
Then you better make sure the example that you put in front of your daughter is how you're treating your wife, how
Right.
you treating her mother, or how you treating the stepmother, however, because you cannot damn a man for treating your daughter a certain way when you're doing that to the woman you're married to.
Right. And
So you
so
better
when
be
she looks
careful.
at
And for
that,
mothers,
your daughter is looking at that as being acceptable behavior. She's looking
yeah.
at that as being,
So
oh, well,
women
this is
need to
how
make
I
sure
grew up.
too.
This is what I was raised seeing in my
Yep.
relationship between my mother and father. And so this must be acceptable. Me, on the other hand, when I saw as a young child my mother fighting with her husband, I was determined that I was not going to have that kind of relationship. I didn't want that in my life.
Yeah.
And so when my first husband decided that he wanted to be trying to put his hands on me, I was like, oh, that's why we didn't last but a month after we got married. I was like, oh, no,
Wow.
that's not for me, honey. I want
Wow.
a
Yep.
divorce. I'm not going to be doing that.
A divorce.
A divorce. Yeah, I'm
Wow.
not doing that. And so we just got to be careful because our daughters deserve so much more. And we have to be willing to talk to them about this kind of stuff, though. We have to be
Yeah.
willing to let them know what is acceptable and what's not acceptable, and what they should not put up with, what they should not stand for in their relationships. So they won't be questioning, well, am I good enough? Will somebody else want me? Or is this the only person that's ever going to want me, that's ever going to love me? Because we know we've all heard those lines before. We've all heard those stories before. Ain't nobody going to love you like me. No, ain't nobody going to want to be
Yep.
with you. I'm the one. I treat you better. You know, all this kind of foolishness because they want to emotionally manipulate you and lock you into a place where you feel like this is what I deserve and this is all that I can obtain in my life. And that's a lie.
Yeah.
That's a
I
lie.
see. My husband said, I'm going back on some of these questions and comments. He said, cheating isn't always kissing, touching, or flirting. Let's keep it real. If you delete text messages so your partner won't see them, you already absolutely.
Yeah.
If you got to delete
I
text
call them
messages,
illegal conversations. Having
man,
any illegal conversations with a person of the opposite sex or even the same sex. Anything. You got to
if
be
you got to
careful.
delete it, you messed up already.
That's right.
If you have to delete, if you are in a relationship, committed relationship, and someone is texting you, first of all, they shouldn't have your number anymore, especially if you changed it. They shouldn't have your number in the first place to be able to contact you unless y'all have children together. Number one. Number two, if you feel like, oh, let me delete this because I don't want her to see it because I have a hard time explaining it, or I don't want him to see this. It was an accident that they, oh, you already foul. You already out. You already messed up. If
Right.
you got to delete anything, you just messed your whole life up. And just because they don't see it at that moment don't mean it will never come back, because what you just did was you gave that person freedom to text you, and all you're doing is saying, I'm just going to delete it afterwards. What if you go to the bathroom and that person texts you and you didn't even know it? Because
Or
some people
call
are
you.
creative.
Or
Right. Some
call
people
you.
are creative. They'll say, I'm getting ready to go to the bathroom. Don't text me right now. Give me a few minutes. Johnny said, okay, so do you feel there are enough married role models?
No.
I know a few, and there's not enough, but there are some that I would sit under and just and sit with them in a couple setting and
Yeah.
get marital advice from them. I'm doing that now. I have a few pastors' wives that hit me up in inbox. We talk and they encourage me and all that. So there are a few. It's not much because everybody is trying to do this single thing and trying to live
Oh.
that. Not in the pulpit. The example.
If every pastor removed their side pieces, how many administrators would there be? Don't answer that question. LOL. You know what?
I'm done. I got it. Anyways, Johnny, there. I don't think this man. Oh my! Put your phone down.
Do you see my
I
page?
don't think I don't think there are enough role models, Johnny. I'm not listening to my husband no more. He's trying to be messy.
trying to
No,
be.
he's being serious. He's being
He
serious.
is
That's a
being
serious
very
question.
serious.
But I don't think there are enough role models, and I think those that are role models are there, but we're looking, I'm speaking for me. I was always looking for that glamorous role model, that high class couple.
Lady Culpepper said he's
Yeah,
still hungry.
he's still hungry. I am going to have to feed him so he can stop. But I don't think there are enough, but there are quite a few that I admire and I do look up to as married couples. And I pray that God shows me if their marriage is authentic. I don't know what they go through at home, but I do know what they show is that real love. And I admire them from afar. And when I do see them, I respectfully let them know that I just admire their marriage
Right.
and they're truthful about their their marriage. I'm sorry, y'all. My husband and these administrators and all this stuff. I will say this: my husband has an administrator, and Sherry is an awesome administrator, and I trust Sherry with my husband deeply. I was an administrator in an admin position, and I used to have a lot of some pastors. I'm not gonna say a lot of some pastors called me because they wanted me to be their admin, and I turned it down because that is how you get. in the position in some places. Let me put that allegedly down there, that you will become a side piece depending on the person and if they have good
And I
game.
say it like this. This is my whole solution to that whole issue. I say this: if you feel like you gotta have a side piece, you don't need no side piece. Go and get the whole piece and leave the one that you got at home alone. Go and get the whole piece, pay their rent, pay the bills to the one that you got at home, and you go and be with the side piece, so then the one at home ain't got to worry about you no more.
I gotta go. This is getting too deep. This just got real raw.
I'm just saying. Why?
He's, he
Why?
said, "Go get the whole
Why?
piece."
Why cheat? Why have a side piece? Why have a side piece?
I need to go feed my husband because he's.
Just go on with the,
Oh Lord,
if
it's not whole piece.
yeah, the
She
whole.
said whole piece,
Okay,
not whole piece.
maybe I said whole piece. I don't know, but I'm just saying they need somebody. What? Sorry, autocorrect. I meant to say whatever. No, you didn't.
No, you
And
didn't.
so, but I'm just saying, any woman that would devalue herself so much to be with a man that is married, and I'm saying it because I was there. I did it. But like I said, I didn't like myself.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying? I did it because it made me feel good for the moments that I was doing it. You know what
yeah,
I'm saying? I mean, just to be honest. And so, but any woman that would do that, they obviously don't love themselves or respect themselves for who they are and who they could be in relationship with somebody that can love them like they deserve to be loved.
yeah,
You know. And I'm just speaking
yeah.
from experience.
I personally loved the adventure of it. It was,
Sure, it
it
was
was
exciting.
it was scary and exciting, trying to see who was going to see you and all this other stuff. But at the end of the day, you did not get that. Well, for me, I can speak for me in that position. You didn't get that kiss. It was no kissing. You didn't get that personal kiss. That compassionate kiss. You didn't get that hug after sex that made you feel like, oh, all is right with the world. I feel much better. No, you got that. All right, I gotta go. Where
What?
can I get some? Can I get some soap? Can I get a towel? That was my whole. That's what I got. Let me
No,
get some soap and some
that's
towel.
what I
I
did,
I
but
didn't.
I usually got to spend the night though.
What?
I'd be like, nah, that's all right. I see you. I see you.
It was
But
it was one of those. Come over. It's late.
oh
Stay
no, I
over.
ain't
I
do
gotta
none of
work
that.
these
Don't be
hours.
calling
It
me in the middle of the
It was,
night.
and
No,
I was a night owl, so I didn't care. Like
I ain't do
that's
none
when
of
I was
that.
at my that's when I was at my loneliest. But what I do thank God, even though I'm saying this in all seriousness, but in a joking way, but all seriousness, what I do thank God for is bringing me out of that,
Yeah.
because I sat and watched women. Sub other women because they feel like it will get them the position that they want in that man's life, and it will not. And sometimes we hurt women, we become angry at each other because we're hurting each other. I've literally seen this woman who I had just made peace with, because it wasn't something that was done after their marriage, but because the battle that she had to go through before. And it was heartbreaking to her. It was heartbreaking to me because my pride, when it was done, because you'll never stop being, once they put it out there that you're this type of person, everybody's going to see you in that same way. So it's, be careful. Don't leave your husband around her. Don't let your husband speak to her too long because of this. And it was heartbreaking. And the fact that you can't have someone can't trust you because what your past was. And I'm now that I'm woke and I see it, it's this
Stay woke.
it's hurtful. It's hurtful. Like, I don't
Yeah.
like to see my sisters go through that. I really don't.
Right.
And I told my husband, I said, I don't like this environment because look what's going on. Like, it's hurtful and it bothers me to my gut because we're going through that and we're still and it's like older women. We're still putting ourselves through that because
Right.
we feel like this is all that we have.
Let me.
I've done it,
Right.
but not do it intentionally. Once I found out that I was second, I got gone. I understand both sides. You and me both.
Right. Let me tell you
Sometimes you don't
something.
even know.
Exactly. But let me tell you something. And we're going to get ready to get off here. Because both of us got to feed our husbands. Look. But seriously, all seriousness though, I was in a situation, right, on my job. My ex was messing with women on my job that I had to work in close proximity with.
Wow.
And I would hear them talk, having conversation on the phone. I knew she was talking to him, on the phone, and she'd be right across from me. And at one time I was angry. I was so angry, and I wanted to do something. You know what I mean? But I said,
Right.
you know what? No, because it's not her fault. She can't do anything to him that he don't allow her to do. You understand what I'm saying?
Right.
And then the second thing is that I remember that place. I remember being in that place myself. And so you know what I did one time when I saw her out in the parking lot. I went up to her and I was talking to her. And I said, you know what? I said I was angry with you. I said, and I was upset and I really wanted to, hurt you. I said, but I realized that, you know what, you just broken. You
Right.
broken, you hurting, you know. I said, and I'm gonna pray for you. I'm gonna pray for you that you get free from whatever this bondage is that is on you, so you can feel, so that you can know that you deserve better. You
Right.
deserve better, to not be somebody's piece, that they come running to, but that you would be somebody's only. You know what I'm saying? And I
Right.
really pray. I prayed for her, and I prayed for a whole bunch of them. I mean, honey, it was a whole bunch of them. It was a whole lot of them on
Wow.
the job that he was
Wow.
with, and it wasn't that people would be talking, because everybody loved him. He was a nice person. He just had issues. You know what I'm saying? He couldn't
Hmm.
keep his thing in his pants. So, but just people, God will reveal them to me. He would
Yep.
show me who they were. And I would find stuff, email, stuff like that. And I was just be like, man, I had to pray and ask the Lord to help me, so that I had to pray to ask the Lord to help me so that I wouldn't hold bitterness and all that stuff towards him or towards them, and
Right.
that he would help me to continue to forgive, because I didn't want to be numb. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Really? I didn't want to be numb. I didn't want my emotions to be turned off and just keep
Right.
going through, what I'm saying, the motions. And so
Yeah.
that's what I had to continue to do to be able to process through it until God released me. Hallelujah.
Right.
Jesus. Yeah, no. And yes. So, but anyway, since nobody has any more top questions or anything, we're gonna, if all hearts and minds are clear tonight, we're gonna get off here, because I think we can be on here for a few more hours, and we're not gonna do that to ourselves or our husbands. Um, so,
Yeah, but I will say this, Bishop. Did you really, not my Cash App, but you put your Cash App up? Wow.
mm-mm-mm. I'm telling you.
You are out of line, sir.
We're going to delete
I
that
will say
comment. Let me see.
I want to say this to that woman right now that is sitting there and like on some real stuff, because it came to my heart to say this to that woman that's sitting there right now, and you want to make that drive over there, and you have that anger, and you have that hammer, wrench, knife, whatever in your car, because you ready to go over there and bust some windows and do some
Don't do it.
things, and you want to call in your anger. I'm pleading with you right now. That right there will change your life forever, and it won't be for the good.
It's not
So
worth
what
it.
I'm asking you to do, because you keep coming in and out of the live, you're watching, you really don't want to hear it. You want to say something, but you don't want to say anything. But what I am going to say to you is this: don't even go outside of your house. Wherever you are, stay there. Do not go near that person. Don't answer the phone calls. Don't do anything. Whatever it is that your friend or whoever else is screenshotting you and sending it to you, I beg with you, I plead with you right now to just delete it out of your phone. At this moment, you need to take the time to pray and ask God to give you the peace to
Yes.
walk out of it,
Yes.
because you're getting ready to walk into something that is not for you. You're getting ready to destroy your life over a man that's somewhere
Ain't
laughing
worth
with
it.
somebody
That's
else.
right.
So I'm begging you. I don't know. It just came on me, and I'm just going to honestly say it, like, just let it go, because you can't change that
Please.
person. You can't change him. He's not for you. Let me say it that way. He is not for you, because while you're waiting at home and you're angry and people are showing you stuff off of somebody else's Facebook or whatever they received, a Snapchat or whatever it is, he's enjoying it and you're sitting there angry.
Right.
Think about that. Why am I in this position for somebody who's happy with somebody? Let him go be happy with that person. Do not allow him to destroy your life. Please don't, because I'm telling you, on this night, if you go over there and you try to cause damage, it is not going to work out for your good. And if you have a child, because I see a little boy, you're about to mess your son's life up. So it's not for you to do it. Let him go so you can grow and be better for yourself and your son.
Yes.
Do not do it. In all seriousness, do not do it. Do not leave wherever you are until you are completely calm. It is not for you. That is not your lifestyle. What you envision for your life and your heart, allow God to give that to you. I don't even know if I'm talking to somebody whose daughter is upset. Whoever this person, this female is, this chocolate female, whoever is sitting there and she's just angry and she keep asking, why me? Why me? And she has a child with this man. You need to let her know she needs to leave him alone. Even if she doesn't listen to you, you take her keys from her, because she's getting ready to make a mistake that's going to cause her to be in jail, or it's going to be worse for her.
Yes.
So that was in me, and I just put it out there, and I hope you receive it and accept it, whoever you are.
Amen. Amen. And so go ahead and close us out in prayer since you released that word. Go ahead and close us out in prayer. And
Well, thank you for all of those that tuned in on tonight. And I know it's been hours we since being on this live, but I really enjoyed it. I love moments like this because people do come together, and we do converse about real talk, real life, real and raw. And I really love that. Thank you, Apostle Michelle. For all of you that were on the live, I pray that God blesses you, your household, your marriage, your life, and everything. God, we just thank you, God. We ask you to keep everybody safe on tonight, wake them up in the morning
yes, Lord.
with goodness, happiness, the faith to move on, the power to move on, the understanding to move on into the next destination that you have for them, God. Now, God, as we leave this live and go into there, feed our husbands, God, allow them to be to eat well and leave me alone. In Jesus' name we pray.
Amen. Amen. Love you guys. Till next time.
Bye.
Bye bye.